Hello, 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 and welcome. On behalf of Rapid Crush Inc., I am the middle level manager, Jason Fladlin, here with you today. Actually, my fancy schmancy title is CEO, but I like to call myself the head nerd. We are doing a special presentation, and it would behoove you to pay very careful attention to every aspect of this presentation you're about to see. And the answer is why, okay? Why should I? Here's why. Because what you are about to discover through this LocalConsult mastery training is Caro, our Aussie secret weapon, is going to break down for you how she is approaching businesses in a new light where she is not the service provider. Instead, she's more of a project manager. If you're like, what the heck is that? You're going to find out and you're going to love it. On how she manages projects for big, big paydays, and how instead of focusing on getting a whole bunch of clients to pay a little, she's going to get a little amount of clients to pay a lot instead. Now, I've known Carol for a few years. She is absolutely the real deal. Everything that she's going to teach you today is non-theoretical. It's been proven and does work, has worked, and will continue to work for the foreseeable future. This will help you create both short-term success and long-term success as well. So with that type of an introduction, Caro, I am going to get out of the way. I'm going to stick to the chat box. I'm going to let you take over.
Thank you, Jason, and hi there, everybody, and happy Australia Day. So it is a big day here in Australia, and I'd love to sort of I invited people on my own list to send through your best Aussie catchphrase that you like. I've seen a few Aussie, 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 oi, oi, ois there, and, you know, Struth, on you, no worries. So, g'day, mate, yes, yeah, there you go, a lot of g'days. So, and people have also asked, what is that fish? It is a fish from New Zealand. I'm actually an official Aussie, New Zealand by birth, Australian by choice. And the story behind that fish, just very quickly, was out fishing with my sister, who's a very serious and competitive fisher person. And they took me out on their boat, and when I was in New Zealand one time, and I was the only lucky person to catch a fish that day. So, of course, I had to completely load it up with my sister, and that provided a very nice meal for us. So I'm really excited to speak with you guys today. I've got a lot of information that I want to get through, and in many ways what I'm sharing is what has been a real epiphany for me, in that how we can all run even more successful consulting businesses for ourselves and the value that we can offer clients. So let's get stuck into it. Question for you. Who here learned how to tie their shoe the very first time someone showed them? Or what about riding a bike? Driving a car? The reality is that very few things, especially worthwhile things, ever happen correctly the first time you do them. Imagine if you'd given up right away from trying to, tie up your shoes, or even, another one is learning to walk. Give up. Harry Potter, and let's look at a few things here. Harry Potter was rejected by 12 publishers. Bloomsbury actually told J.K. Rowling to get a day job, and I think she's now well and truly laughing all the way to the bank with 15 billion. We learnt this in history in New Zealand, all about American history. Abraham Lincoln ran for state legislature and he lost. Then he ran for Congress and he lost. And not stopping there, ran for US Senate, lost again. VP, lost. State Senate, still not on that winning streak. He'd never actually won a political contest, and yet he became the most celebrated president, or one of the most celebrated presidents in the United States, and he's even up for an Oscar. Other notable examples, well, Tim Ferriss, most people have heard of him, the 4-Hour Work Week. He got rejected 26 times, and of course Dr. Seuss, he had to beat him, by one, and was rejected 27 times. I mean, where would we be without, we've all grown up with Dr. Seuss. But if he'd given up, we wouldn't have. Winston Churchill, he didn't become Prime Minister until age of 62. He was just, you might have, if he decided to think that he was a loser with a capital L, he would never have had such an impact on history as he has. Albert Einstein, everyone recognises him as being brilliant. He didn't learn how to speak until he was 4, and he couldn't read until he was 7. And then look what he did. This one I love. Disney lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Fired for that. It's like, yeah, really. And Beethoven, he was considered hopeless. Now, these are all world-renowned people. We may not be world-renowned ourselves as yet, but how does it relate to us? Well, I've coached thousands of internet marketers, and what I have noticed is that they give up the second they hear the word no. When they hear the word no, the shutters come down. And this is a travesty or a tragedy. It's sad because the real money isn't made until after, in my opinion, you've heard at least one no. So what I'd like to suggest to you is, what if, instead of hoping for a yes, you actually developed an excitement of hearing the word no, that you completely reframed what no means to you, and that no was actually a good thing. Do you think that you'd then be able to instantly call on and try and help 10 times more local businesses, you know, just even in the next week than you did last month, if no didn't have that emotional trigger for you any longer, that it wasn't a big deal? In fact, a no actually meant opportunity, not a dead end. See, because best of all, our goal here as a local consultant isn't actually to get a massive amount of clients. I was chatting to a fellow local consultant the other day, and her business model was she had a phenomenal amount of clients. She had a particular methodology, and I completely respect her for that. And she, you know, was sitting there across a coffee table, and she would have had a pile of about 250 contacts. And I'm like, wow. Now she's earning between $500 to $1,000 from each of those contacts. And I was talking to her about my business model, which I'm sharing with you here, and she was like, oh my God, you know, you're dealing with less clients and you're making way more money. And that's the thing. How many good quality clients do you need to meet your financial goals? 100, 50, 25? No. I'd say, you know, 8 to 10 a year is perfect. You don't actually need that many clients. It's about getting quality and about upselling those clients. On this webinar, I'm going to show you how getting many no's as you can actually be a breakthrough, that it is absolutely well and truly a good thing, that no does not mean no in the final sentence, 9 times out of 10. So that you can actually make more money this year than you've made online ever. If you follow what I'm about to teach you, I truly believe this is possible for you. But it does start with you reframing what a no means. It will be easier money than you've ever made, and it will be more value that you're going to be providing local businesses than ever before. And more value means more money. You know, there's a saying, when you have a hammer in your hand, everything looks like a nail, which is not a good thing. If you go to help local businesses with only one tactic you learned, say, last week from a free webinar, what's going to happen? You're actually trying to fit a solution to a problem. So you're going in there and it's like the hammer on the light bulb. What you want to do instead is find a problem and present the perfect solution. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. So instead, what if any and every single business out there was actually a potential gold mine to you? That you started to see opportunity. That will also mean that you are able to provide a business more value. If you see more opportunity, if you don't react to, say, an initial no, you'll actually be in a position to offer more value. Instead of forcing what you think is best, you listen to what they actually say. Now, the downside could be that you're thinking, well, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. I don't want to be that. I want to be a specialist. It's more lucrative to be a specialist. if you're open to providing every possible solution to local businesses, you might think, well, aren't I then spreading my self too thin? How can this be a good thing? Well, you are spreading yourself thin, absolutely, and it is a fantastic thing because you're the consultant. You are not the service provider. I'm going to make this comment a few times in this presentation. It's actually a lot better that you're not the service provider. You get paid not for your technical ability, but for your strategic ability and your ability to manage projects, and this becomes easy, the managing of the project. So here's a real paradigm shift, because what I see is that people, go from they're in their current day job, they want to get out. I completely understand why you'd want to get out. And you learn online marketing, which is fantastic that you're doing something, so I think that's great. And then for some reason you think, well, I've learned how to, do a WordPress site. I've learned, how to do this. I've learned how to do that. I should then do that for a client. Well, what you're actually being then is the service provider, and that's not where the money is, and that's certainly not what is valuable to the client. A consultant, being a strategic consultant, is a lot more valuable to a client, and they will pay you a lot more for you stepping into that role. So before we get into the meat of this training, it's important to know why this works, why it works to, go and not, be upset about hearing no's, and to focus more being on a consultant and a project manager than a service provider. So before how you will work it, let's look at the why. Well, as you know, my name's Karen McCourty, and in the last 12 months I have had clients pay me for such things as branding, sales support materials, website design, search engine optimization, pay-per-click management, social media optimization, LinkedIn marketing, marketing plans, vendor management, and employee training, and other stuff as well. But you can see there that, yes, certainly there's things that are online related and there's things that aren't. And now you might be sitting here thinking, yeah, but I'm not skilled in branding, and I don't understand, marketing plans, and oh gosh, I wouldn't want to, give a training. Well, I'm going to hopefully remove all those barriers you might have been putting up for yourself there, because you can offer all of this. Because what's interesting, I've just said I've offered all those, but with branding services, I've never personally created a logo in my life, nor do I know how to use Photoshop. I got into a fit of excitement one day and bought Pixelometer. I can't even say it, I don't even know exactly what it is, but it's an Apple type product, thinking, yeah, I'm very visual, I'm going to learn how to do it. I tried for about half an hour and thought, no, it's not me, not for me. So I don't actually create the logos myself. Sales support. I've never managed a sales team, and yes, I do come from a marketing background originally, but I feel very strongly that I know nothing about sales. It's a completely different skill set than a marketing skill set, and yet I'm offering sales support. Website design. Well, I've been selling, it's actually longer than a year, it's about 18 months. I have been working without my own website. I now finally have it up and ready. And, I actually tried to set up my own site and gave up because it was too hard. Search engine optimization. Yes, I do follow what's going on, with all the Google updates, but I've decided consciously that I don't want the responsibility of coming up with a solution, because it's too much of a headache. I would rather have experts that focus on it, and their whole business model is based on being an accredited SEO provider, than me try and work it out myself. And this is different from using outsourcers in third world countries. This is actually accredited agencies, and I'm going to talk more about how you can actually use them and still make money. Pay-per-click management. Yeah, I do come from a very strong pay-per-click background. When I first got online, I used to do all my own pay-per-click for my niche marketing. No, don't go near it. It takes too much time. It's not the best use of my time. None of these things are the best use of my time and are not going to make me the money I want to. So it goes on and on and on like that. And just a couple of examples. This is example of an invoice. This was an add-on for a project. So that's about 3,000 plus. We have tax here, Australian dollars. That's even more in US dollars. So that could be about I think 3,200 or something like that US dollars. It was an add-on to a project I think that was already worth about 12,000. They decided they wanted more partway through. Another example there, that was for a total of $12,000 project, and you can see all the various things that I was doing for them there. So that's just a couple of examples of what I get paid for. So the shift, and this is really a big paradigm shift, I think, for all of us to make. I've certainly made it myself. Instead of trying to shove solutions down throats, you're going to have to tell, you're going to have them tell you the problems, and then you present the solutions. So it's about not selling but offering value, not talking but you listen, and not asking, making statements but questions. So again, you want to say, I don't sell, I offer value. I don't talk, I listen. I don't make statements, I ask questions. They're really, really important approaches there. Value, listen, and questions. Very powerful. And here's the rub in a good way. The busiest business all of a sudden has time when you ask them the right questions about their business. Honestly, they're like little flowers that when the sun comes on and they're watered, they just open up. Business owners will chat to you when you ask them the right questions, when you show genuine interest in what they have to say. So they could have been previously, trying to, seem very offhand, might even have, arms folded, all the, negative body language. But when they can see that you're not trying to sell to them, that you're not trying to, make statements, that you are actually really genuinely interested, they talk, and my goodness, do they talk a lot. Because you also want to think about it, business owners, it's really refreshing for them to be able to talk to somebody outside of their business that they feel is a peer, that is an equal to them, that they can actually sort of say, oh yeah, this is going on, that's going on. But it does take you to, demonstrate those things of, being genuinely interested in what they have to say, and then they do start to open up. So there's a couple of approaches of how to approach business owners. There's the you make the first contact, but different to what you've been doing before is that you go with an entry point as opposed to a yes or no. What I have seen consultants, I've mentored before, like consultants, and they might decide that they're going to go in with, their entry point is, so that sounds good, is mobile marketing, but they're holding on to the yes or the no, and they're holding on to like this entry point. And it's like, look at the analogy that when you walk through a door, you don't hold on to the door handle and stay there. You just walk in, and then, you decide how long you're going to stay, how long's right, you're invited in, and then you leave, and then if it goes well, you come back. So it is really about making the first contact with an entry point that you have no attachment to. Another way is they contact you. But it's not like, oh yeah, Caro, but that's, referrals, and I haven't done this, before long enough, and I don't have referrals. It's not that. It's they contact you because you put yourself into positions where businesses who are experiencing problems would be able to, say, accidentally find you. So let's put some context around that. An example happened to me. Someone who works out at the gym I work out at, they're part of my morning group. See them, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Had, seen them, I'd say, casual chit chat. They knew that I did this, online marketing stuff. And so one day at the drinking fountain, and it was literally here, he said, hey, Caro, you do that online stuff. Can you put me onto somebody who can put me onto a website? What do you think I said? How do you suppose he knew I did this online stuff? It's not because I've sold myself to him, it's just that it's a natural thing when you meet someone to trade what each other does. I knew, he told me what business he owned. I said, I'm an online marketer. Didn't say any more than that. Have chit-chatted with him before about, one day he was mentioning that he was downloading apps because he had this new iPhone, he'd converted to iPhone. So of course I, chipped in there because I'm an, Apple enthusiast, and like that. Another time he's talking to me about iTunes. He came and asked me questions about iTunes. So just casual chit-chat. I've never tried to sell to him at all. So, when have you had an opportunity like this presented to you that actually didn't result in a client for you? And why do you think that that might have been the case? Just want you to think about that. Another example is the Japanese restaurant I eat at least once a week. In fact, I was there last night and I was there the night before grabbing takeaways. I love my Japanese food. One day I noticed they didn't have a website. What do you think I did? So again, that's how it can happen for you. So I'm not running around looking for opportunities to, sell myself. I'm probably running around with a smile on my face, interested in engaging in people. Particularly, I'm very interested in business owners. Again, not because I'm a consultant and I want them to become my clients. I'm really interested in them because I'm fascinated by, their businesses and how they're going and how, what their business models are. And, that genuine interest builds up a really solid relationship with people. And then, then when they need me or I can identify a need that they have, they become my client. So how do you, so this is actually about you, how do you get your first or your next client? Well, as opposed to a tactical approach, it's about a strategic approach. Step one is self-evaluation. I've already indicated this. It's like, what businesses do you frequent already as a customer? Where do you go already as a customer? You might not, like me, didn't think of the Japanese restaurant as a client. Now you could say, oh, Cara, how the hell can you say you're a success? That's so obvious. To me, it wasn't, because I'm not really running around thinking everybody's a potential client. It's just that I, engage with people. But when I sit down, and I have done this as well, I thought, oh, yeah, no, I go there, yeah, I'm going to actually go and approach them. And it generally leads in business. What are businesses? You're an introduction away from meeting. Say a friend of a friend or a family member. I've gotten clients that way as well. Both I've asked to be introduced, like I've actually asked for that, or I have overheard, say a friend talking about an issue that their husband's having with their business. Now, I don't automatically get awarded that work. I still have to go through the professional process, and that's sometimes it's because it's being demanded of me. Other times, well, all times, it's because as a consultant, as a professional, that's how I position myself. So I have a process that I use whether they're known to me or whether they're not. And also, look at what intelligence you can gather. And this is what I do. So this is actually for businesses local to me. And I've worked with clients that are in different countries. I've got a client at the moment actually in New Zealand. I've worked with businesses in the US. I work with businesses interstate in Australia. And I work with businesses local to where I live. So there's no limitation of where you can have clients. So, this is an example. And you can do this whether the business is around the corner, businesses around the corner from you, or businesses that are further away that you decide you're going to target. But essentially, I do this, business name, and then I just list out things, and then my comments here. What I see is the entry point, and keep a status update. So that's what I create is my prospecting table, and it's all in language. It's no highfalutin language. It's just stuff that I relate to. Simple no, and then yes, poorly. And and that just triggers the memory of what I saw when I did my recce, as we call it here, reconnoiter. Step 3, the entry point. Again, the entry point that has no attachment. You could say things to potential clients like, I noticed you don't have a website. Is there any specific reason for that? I notice you do have a website. How's it working for you? Which lifestyle cycle stage is your business currently in? How are you promoting your business currently? So they're all again, questions, not statements like, hi, I'm Cara McCourty, and I'm a marketing consultant, and I'd love to chat to you about your business. It's more like I'm talking to them about their business. And this whole website stuff, that generally comes up after I've asked some other questions about how it's going and how business is going for them. And that's pretty much it. It's as simple as that. And why this will work, even if you've failed a million times before, is that our first goal is evaluating all the weaknesses in a business. Our second goal is getting them to tell us what they would happily pay for. Now, of course, they're not going to say, "Oh, Cara, I'd happily pay, anything for this." But when you talk to them, you find that point of pain. Like I've had conversations where, I've talked to a client, and because this is also part of like your upselling strategy. Everything I'm teaching you here is true for a new client, and also when you've started working to continue working and finding more things you can do for that client. And it's in that conversation you hear. I had a client ring me the other day and they go, "Oh, Caro, it's like I'm tearing my hair out. With my sales, I've fired so many salespeople." I'm thinking, well, that's not a good thing. And listening to them, I hear that they have a real need they've got no support materials, because I'm asking questions and I'm saying, well, what do the salespeople have to go to market with? And they said, well, they should have things, but they don't have anything. I haven't got, around to that. And so, there is a very clear need. So I'm not asking questions to try and sell to them. I'm asking questions to see what opportunity there is for me there, but I'm also genuinely interested. And our third goal there, really, and this is huge, I really want you to get the shift that you are not service providers. It is not about you doing the work, about you doing the SEO, about you doing the PPC, about you building the website. It's about being a strategic project manager. That is where the money is for you. That is where the ongoing business is for you. It's about providing the solution. I do zero of the following. I don't design branding and corporate identity packages. Yes, as a consultant, I think your own creativity and eye is very important to that process, but certainly I'm not the one that goes and creates a logo design. I don't do pay-per-click management, I don't do search engine optimization, and I certainly don't do HTML or WordPress in any way, shape or form. And yet I get paid for all of these things: branding, sales support materials, website design, SEO, PPC, LinkedIn, marketing plan, vendor management, employee training, and more. So I get paid for all of those things, and I don't do them myself. I do the marketing plans. That one I'd say would be a different, and also employee training. But that's also, things that each and every one of you are capable of doing yourself as well. But the rest of it is all outsourced. So how? Well, there's two main ways. Again, outsourcing. Now, I know a lot of you say that this isn't easy, so I want to acknowledge that, but I would say to you, just to be controversial maybe, or that, contentious, maybe that's the word, that it's actually really easy. And I think the tip I'd offer you is that it's the quality of the brief. The quality of the output you get with outsourcers is based on the quality of the brief. And I think that that's where a lot of people go wrong. And possibly, fortunately, because of my corporate background, I'm very stringent on briefing, and there's proposals, there's briefs, and that's the stuff that I do, and that's what I get paid for, and that's part of the managing process. So outsourcing actually can be very easy when you have a very clear brief on what it is you want. White labeling. Now, I use this mainly for pay-per-click and search engine optimization, and it is fantastic. Because let's look at it a bit more. Do you suppose that maybe there's many talented firms out there who specialize in services that would benefit local businesses, who would give you special rates and allow you to put your brand on it? That's the key thing, that they have to allow you to put your brand on it. Based on you've also solved their problem, you're bringing business to them. That's what white labeling means. It means that you can put your brand on their services. They're the professional in that field, so they're the SEO company, they're an accredited one. I do a lot of research to, I have a stable of people I use for that, and then you white label it so it has your brand name on it. and then you're the person that deals directly with the client, not this white label company. You are the brand champion, and you act as the go-between between the people doing the service providers and then yourself as the consultant liaises with the client. If you understand what I'm saying, that you switch from being a service provider to a consultant, you can offer any and every service imaginable to any and every local business who needs help. So just to recap, we don't sell solutions, we identify problems, and we use those problems as our entry points without attachment. We never have attachment. We've reframed how we feel about a no. It's not really about getting a yes. It's about finding what their true point of pain is. Where is it that they need help most? And of course you have to start somewhere. So that's why I call them an entry point, because you start somewhere. But that start is without attachment, because that might not be what you do for them first of all. I've had several no's from clients that have been my $80,000 client that I've billed over $80,000 worth of business to. I got many no's from many things that I put forward to them, and I also obviously got a lot of yeses. It was, and it's not like, you know, I was trying to do a needle in a haystack. It's just that some things weren't right for the client when I presented, and I understand why at that time when we talked it through. But then out of that conversation came, it would be like, oh, okay, I understand further. Well, how does this sound? And they go, oh, actually, that sounds like that's on the money. I'd love to, you know more about that. So I go, well, I'll get a proposal together for you, and we can go through it, and I'll do an estimate, and you know, let's see if that does the trick for you. So we discover what businesses are eager to have, but they currently don't have, and there's an awful lot that businesses don't have. And we create ways to help them get that, and of course we get paid. And again, just some examples, you know, creating Facebook fan page and Twitter skins. You know, this is just like around, you know, setting up domains and hosting for them. Keyword research. There, like a whole project. You can see that one. That one was just as simple. That was like an upsell for something I was doing for an existing client. They wanted more, and they wanted more sort of things, which is great. And then this is just half of what this project, it's still ongoing, but it was a total of actually 10,000. And if you look at that 10,000 Australian dollars, I think that's quite a lot more in US. So I don't have the exchange rate in front of me. And you know, again, marketing plan, definitely a high-end project, and this is something that is doable. You do have to put a lot of yourself in this, but it's certainly incredibly rewarding. I'm going to talk more about the marketing plan as I go through. Again, LinkedIn project here, another high-end total of just under 15,000 for that. So these are all examples of what I've been paid for. There. So the best thing though is that, and I want to share this with you, and it, you know, clients will say wonderful things, and I've been fortunate, you know, to have had clients say some very nice things, but this has been a career highlight for me, and a client has said this to me in writing, which you'll see. They've reiterated it over the phone to me, and they've also said it to me in person. And, you know, when they said this, I did, you know, well up in tears. It's like, wow. Because they said, you know, I was feeling dead inside towards my business. And with your work, passion, leadership, and dedication to this project, you've reignited my own passion again for my business, and that feels great. I mean, that was, and I wasn't searching for that. I didn't realize the impact. I was just so loving, and I still am. This project's still ongoing, because this is a project that was meant to be a simple logo and, you know, and a website. We were meant to start more with the website and just do their logo, has ended up being this huge, huge branding project that's still ongoing, with logo design, all their office materials, all their marketing materials, and all the all sorts of advertising. This client does a lot of local. So this branding project has just been enormous, and we're still to get onto the website. But you know, the client, from something as simple as a logo and a brand, that's what gave life to this comment. So that's the impact that you can actually have for that business. So the reality is, it really, you know, here, it doesn't matter how smart you are, how much experience you have, and what you know. The fact is, change isn't going to happen by listening to this one webinar one time. It's certainly going to put you on, if you're open to this, it certainly is opening up a door, and certainly is a door that you can move through and be very conscious about. But as we know, you don't go to a gym once and then walk out as, you know, buff as a bodybuilder. It doesn't happen that way. And that's not because it's hard. It's just that you need more. We all need more. I'm continually looking to upskill myself and train myself. I never, ever, ever want to get to a point where I think I know everything. I think my business will die the day that I get to that, because that's just, you know, arrogance, and I think, you know, ill sort of thought out by myself if I used to think that. So specifically, you need reference material. You know, stuff that says do this, do that, follow this, check that sort of stuff. And you need resources. You know, who to broker to, client questionnaires, pricing matrices, you know, stuff like that. And you need training, going from cold to gold, and each step of that explained. That's why you're going to love to get your hands on this brand new training program that I've created. And I've partnered with Rapid Crush. I absolutely adore Jason and Will. I am always impressed with their level of professionalism. They have a fantastic business model. You know, I get so excited about people's business models, and I love Jason and Will's, and they do it with integrity, which is always important to me as well. So what it's about, what my training's about, is local consults mastery. It's different to anything I've done before. It's not a simple tactical exploitation sort of training, not that any of mine have been, that will teach you things that only work for a very short time. Those that know me here will know I'm about going deep with people, and this is about something that is going to be valuable to you forever. This is about real foundational stuff. This is stuff that you can use in so many different situations. So there is no fluff. This is really in-depth, intense even, in a good way. There's 13 modules. Most of them contain several videos. I've gone way OTT with the amount of videos I created. I just couldn't help myself. I just wanted to share so much with you guys, and you know, I put supplementary materials such as PDFs, text files, documents, and more. It's all stuff that I do in my business, how I offer all these services and get paid for it. So module 1, we're starting off, so setting the scene, identifying the problem, how to figure out what a business actually wants, and how to position yourself to be the one to help them with it. And then importantly, a comprehensive list of quality questions to ask your prospects. And you know, the pattern of the type of problems businesses face and how to present a solution. There are patterns. You're going to come across situations more than once, so it's good to know how to handle those. So all of that is in the first module. In the second module, it's about what you must have before you get your first or next client, making sure you have this in your own business kit. What you need to be a credible consultant, and it's not difficult stuff, it's not expensive to use stuff, but it's absolutely imperative. Once you assemble your business kit, you know, then you're going to be 1,000, I'd even say, more times more likely to get a client. Also in module 2, I'm going to take you through in depth about a proposal and understanding the importance that a proposal will make between walking away empty-handed or actually winning the job. In Module 3, I'm going to go through the 11 services businesses will happily pay for. So I'll go through those and talk about, how I've, won clients myself doing these services. So I use both case studies and also examples of the overarching strategy. And the next modules, I'm breaking them down. So this is very much like a top line here of the 11 services, and then I go into more details. So in Module 4, it's going in depth into branding and the business identity. This is honestly one of the easiest things to sell local businesses. It's one of my favorite in the list of services I offer. And it's just so easy sell. It really is. And if you identify a client who has a brand problem, there are so many upsells and cross-sells. It really is a fantastic place to start with a business. It really is. Website development. With the way that I approach it, one client can be worth 10,000 or more for a website development project. I'm not looking to turn around $1,500, $2,500 websites at all. I've gone completely OTT in this. There's 11 videos about all the potential revenue streams for you with website development. And you'll also be in a better position to communicate the unbeatable benefits to your clients. And in this, it also connects with the importance of the proposal. You're going to get all the templates you need for how to do these proposals yourself, both to the clients and then also importantly a brief that the client also needs to approve, and then also what you give to the developer. Now, Module 6, 7 and 8 are on their way. They'll be loaded up next week, and this is going to be on search engine optimization, pay-per-click and LinkedIn. I got so carried away with doing a huge number of videos for the rest of them that I'm still to complete with these ones here. So they're being finished, edited, and will be in the members area later next week. And I tell you what, there's so much to go through here as it is. So sales support materials. If a business has a sales team, that sales team needs support materials, and often they don't have them. And this has been a recent revelation to me that, hey, okay, I feel really stupid when it comes to the whole sales thing, but I can still offer value here, and that's exactly what I've done. So you can provide them sales support, and that will bring tremendous value to the business. So it can be a very lucrative service for you to provide. So you'll discover how you can help businesses with sales support materials from start to finish. The marketing plan. This is a biggie. This is a really biggie, but it's a fantastic one because it's amazing how many local businesses do not have a marketing plan for their business, and ideally they absolutely should. And you'll discover the conversation to have with your client to find out how to handle it, and when they ask how much, because it is a big ticket item, but how you can actually communicate and clearly communicate the benefits to get them to realize that yes, I do need this, and how to manage the marketing plan creation from start to finish. So this is just fantastic. Marketing plans are a great thing for you to help businesses with, and you don't have to come from a traditional marketing background to do it. I've certainly put a lot into this module to help you. I do come from a marketing background, so I've shared my knowledge with you in this module. So Module 11, vendor management. So many local businesses are spending and wasting money because no one manages their vendors for them. And they end up overpaying, paying for things they don't need or use, or neglecting vendors. It's just really, this was another like, hey, wow, I can help out here, rather than just stopping at the, yes, I've created the the artwork for you. It's actually taking that next step and managing the vendors, sourcing the vendors for them to do the printing, to do the production. So this can help businesses and take a burden and make you money. Module 12, employee training. Employees are the #1 cost of a business, and yet few are properly trained for to be profit producers, to know how to well, to take responsibility. There's customer service, there's leadership, there's many things that you can offer businesses with training. So it's a service you can offer and get paid very nicely. This is another high-end service that you can credibly offer, and I'm going into quite a lot of detail in this module too, as well, all of them I do actually, to help you feel confident that you can credibly offer this. So you'll discover how to manage this whole process from start to finish. And then module 13 is about putting it all together, so bringing it together, how to make it work, and then what ties in with what. So warning, I most probably will. I don't want to freak you out, but nor is this for a thunder factor, but there is a total of at least 53 training videos and several reference materials just in those 13 core modules. I did get carried away. What I wanted to do was basically just share my knowledge with you guys so that confidence can be one of the biggest challenges for us. So I wanted to arm you with as much information to really help you build your own confidence here, because you can honestly, credibly offer all of these services that I am covering off in this training. Absolutely. And that's going to open up things for you rather than just thinking, oh, just website or mobile friendly or Google Places. You become more of a consultant. You actually offer services. You have service providers that implement, that do the tactical stuff, and you get to become more of a marketing consultant, a strategic advisor for a business owner. And business owners need that. They are business owners. They are not marketers. You can play the role as the marketer, and businesses really value that. And the good news with these modules is that each one can and does stand alone. You can randomly close your pick one, the one that appeals to you or intrigues you most, and start there. And honestly, I think you'd earn your money back if you invest today just for that one module. There is so much information in those modules there for you. That's why I can say without batting an eye, each module is worth the price of a $97 course you'd buy. They really are. Times 13 modules, that would be 1,261 if I've done my maths right there. I like round numbers. Love anything with a 7 in it, it's my favourite. 997, let's say, it's priced there. So what you get for 997, you get practical, step-by-step application, no theory at all. This is based on how I operate. This is based also on how I think, feel, and do. I'm not saying you have to do exactly the same, but it's certainly going to open your mind to what you can do, and I think it will also ignite your confidence in what you're capable of. Even if you sit there and think, oh God, I don't agree with that, I'm delighted, because that tells me you're thinking for yourself, and then go out and do what you think. I really mean that, because we all have our own strategic abilities that are worth giving life to. So there's no theory in this, it's all practical. You get to finally provide real value to businesses in a way you previously never could. Rather than just going there thinking, I've got to sell, oh, I want to sell, I've got to find a match for mobile friendly, I've got to find a match for Google Places. It's like you're actually looking to connect with a business owner and see where you can help them. So you'll get everything you need to succeed, and then even some more. That's why when I tell you today your space is just $497, you can see why I'm so excited to offer this. I really am. So just one single payment of $497 will get you 13 modules and 53 videos at least. So not just the 13 modules, you get also, I've created these incredible bonuses, and these are only going to be available for a short time. So what I've done is I've done my pricing secrets. People often ask me, well, what do I charge? So I've taken you through in this module how you should price out a project to a client, how to actually get paid, I just answer everything around the whole pricing side of things. And it's also, again, it's a strategic approach to pricing. Pricing is honestly not driven by the client, it's driven by you. So you're going to understand further how I actually say that and how I was able to bill 80,000 in a year with one client, which, you know, of course I was delighted about. And when I started with them, I think it was a $12,000 job. So, you know, again, it was a fantastic start, but it grew and grew and grew by doing everything that I'm teaching you in this training. Second bonus is prospecting secrets, and I'll reveal to you 6 different ways I get clients from my consulting businesses. So this is my way of doing it. These strategies are proven and they're different from your normal tactical based methods because I don't work that way. I am not a step 1, you know, I'm not clinical, I'm not automated that way, and I don't think any of you should be. When it comes to human, consultant to business owner, it's about, I've created these strategies that work, that convert, and also, okay, I'll be really honest with you, I can't stand prospecting. You know, I'd rather stick pins in my eyes. You know, I know everyone says they don't like prospecting. Well, I'm right there with you. You know, I'll join team hate prospecting. But the thing is, if you want to put food on your table, you have to do it. So what I've created are ways to prospect that are more pleasurable to me than other ways I've been exposed to prospect. Other ways I've seen these fantastic looking tactical ways. I just want to curl up and, you know, in the corner and cry. So I've created ways, I've developed these ways that work well for me and, you know, how I like to operate. And I think that you'll really like them as well. Third bonus is a live question and answer training. We're going to be doing 2 of these, and I'll take your main questions and that you ask, and these will be sent through Rapid Crush, and answer them on these trainings. So you can even show up live and get your question answered. And even if you don't make it live, they will be recorded and added to the members area. So this is really important for me to be able to offer you as well, because I want you to you know, make this real for yourself. I want you to take action. I don't want you just to, like, you know, go, oh, this sounds great, Caro, and then do nothing about it. I want you to get out there in the way that I have been, you know, that I've shared on this webinar, being more like, you know, what is the real problem going on for the, you know, for their client, and then looking to offer a solution based on that, and not getting caught up with no's. So what you get for one single payment of $4.97 is Module 1, identifying the client's problem. Module 2, what every consultant must have. The Module 3 is the 11 services. Then we go in depth with branding, website development options, SEO services, PPC services, LinkedIn services, sales support materials, marketing plans, vendor management, employee training, and pulling it all together. And then bonuses of prospecting secrets, pricing secrets, and 2 live Q&A sessions. So a hell of a lot there. So what you risk is that even though I've really put my heart and soul into this, it's taken me a long time to do this training. I'm not someone that's a prolific, you know, every couple of months I've got a new product for you, partly because I'm so busy working on my clients that I don't have the time, and also it's just not how I operate. It's like I go deep or I go home. So I've really put my heart and soul into this for you. I've, yeah, as I said, laid bare everything in this one training, and you'll get the whole thing completely risk-free, because if you sign up now for the special price and the special bonuses, you can evaluate it for 30 days. And look, if you decide this isn't for you, you get your money back. As simple as that. I mean, I really hope it is for you, but you're the one that needs to decide that for themselves. So it's as simple as dropping a line to Rapid Crush, not to me directly, but to Rapid Crush, because they're managing all of that side of it, and it's in the best hands possible, and they'll take care of you. And it's like, but wait, there's more. I've saved the best for last here. I really wanted to make this special for you. I really, really did. I want you to enjoy the successes that, you know, that I'm fortunate enough to enjoy, and that's because I work hard. It's, you know, please never think that you're not going to have to work hard, but it's enjoyable. It's rewarding work. I tell you, when you have a client say to you that you've reignited their passion for their business, that's a biggie, and that can be what a client could say to you. So when you go to sign up, for a very, very, very limited time, it's just going to be $199.95. So again, just now I've talked to the guys and we've agreed to offer it for $199.95. So please go here, localconsults.com // special splash. I'm thinking water. It's already very hot here, and I don't have the fan on. This special investment of $199.95, so no longer $997 or $497, expires very shortly. So it comes with all 13 modules, all bonuses, and no questions asked, you know, money back guarantee. So Jason.
Awesome. Carol, thank you for going through that. I want to tell a story real quick if I can. And I just put into the chat box localconsults.com/special. The backstory of how this came to be is a very interesting one, and I think it's instructive for you listening and helping you make a decision to see if this is right for you or not. I was talking with Carol, I believe it was in early December or maybe even November, and we were going back and forth because I was always impressed with Carol's approach of how she did things differently than how most so-called local consultants do it when they try to build their business. And I love the fact of how she took more of a role of, I will not do this for my clients, I will only solve their problems, and then I will either outsource or manage somebody else to fulfill that. So we went back and forth on, well, what kind of product can we create? How can we create something of tremendous value and all of that stuff, right? And I asked her, I said, Carol, one day I said, send me over an email of all the different things that you have billed clients for that they have paid for in the last 12 months. And so she did, and it was a very long list, and I started looking through it, and I got really excited. And I said, you know what would be fantastic, Carol, is if we could put together a training on, first of all, how to identify these problems related to these services so you can then have people excited to want to have you solve that problem, right? And then could you potentially, Carol, explain these step-by-steps, so how they could manage such a project. So say I know nothing about sales support materials. Could I watch your videos, Carol, and be able to then say, oh, I know how to manage a project, so I could outsource or get this set up so that these businesses who desperately need sales support materials would pay for it, and I could deliver it to them, and they'd be happy, and they'd want to continue to pay me for other things. So she says, oh yeah, that's no problem, because that's what Carol does every single day. So we sat down together, we really worked on putting out this outline, and when it was done, we honed in on the 11 services. Those are all the services that Carol does, but these are the ones that I feel 1,000% confident that anybody after watching Carol's videos could go out there to do, could go out there and find any number of potential prospects that would be perfectly suited and would be very happy to want you to help them manage these services. And then, of course, since you're the consultant, you're not the service provider of how we position you, you could say, okay, this is my fee. You take the money, you take some of that money, and you go and you follow Carol's videos to get it done. So you're not the one that's writing the code. You're not the one designing the logo. You're not the one writing all the different materials for the sales support or the website development or even the branding. You're not designing those logos and those graphics or any of that stuff. And so that's what Local Consults Mastery is all about. It's taking the top-down approach. Most people in internet marketing, they take the down to the top approach, the bottom to the top approach instead of the top-down approach. And that's where, and there's merit to that, by the way. I'm not discounting it. That's where you start very small and then build your way up. Also, though, there's merit in what Carol does. There's no reason why you, having never built a client in your life, couldn't go out there and score a $10,000 contract with your very first client. And I know that for a fact, and I can say that unequivocally, having went through this, planned this out, and consumed myself the materials of what Carol has created. Now, the interesting thing about Local Consults is it differs from your normal Rapid Crush style training of what we publish, and the fact of usually I am against 60 video course. Because usually in most cases when you purchase something like that, it's because somebody has either chopped up the videos into 30-second segments and tried to get that bulk feeling of like, oh my God, you get so much, so it has to be a good deal because you get so much, right? That's not a benefit to you. In addition to that, a lot of times people tend to ramble on and get down into the minutia, the things that don't make sense or don't matter too much, and that's not good for you either. The thing with Caro's training here with Local Consults is everything is whittled down to its bare essence, so you can go through it, get it once, and say, aha, I get it, and now I know immediately what to do. The beautiful thing, though, is what Caro has done is covered everything that she does, and she does so much because she isn't the one actually doing it, she's the one managing the project, and that's how she breaks it down for you. So to charge something like this for $1,000 would be very typical. Very, very typical. Our regular price, if you go to localconsults.com, is $497, which is a really good deal. What we wanted to do is make something extremely extra special today, because I know once you get in there and try this out, you're going to absolutely love it. It's going to be a refreshing approach for you. It's going to change things completely. And the wonderful, wonderful thing about this all is the skills and the things that Caro teaches, they are evergreen, valuable forever. Now, as a consultant or as an internet marketer, anybody who's trying to make more money online or offline, it doesn't matter. If you're just going to make more money, you need two things in your toolkit. One of the things you need is those short-term, get it while it's hot type of approaches. And those are the things like, you know, this one thing before it changes is hot, let's jump on and let's make some money. And I definitely want that to be part of your approach. But the other part of your approach is I got to have stuff that will work all the time, day in and day out, whether it's 2013 or 2023, these same fundamentals can be applied and work. And that's what we have done here. And you will see this once you get your hands on it with the Local Consults Mastery. So go ahead and go to localconsults.com/special. Real quickly, let me run through down exactly what you get again. The first module is excellent because it identifies the client's problems. What we do is more so strike certain types of conversations that are easy to strike, where businesses will flat out tell us, boy, I've been banging my head against the wall. I wish somebody would solve this problem for me. I'm begging to find a solution, and nobody's even asked me about this before, and I'm going to pour my guts out to you about this. And you listen, you say, okay, yeah, got it. Okay, and the likelihood of it being one of the 11 services or dovetail to the 11 services that Caro teaches is very high. The second thing, and this is what I really like, is Module 2, what every consultant must have. So Caro literally sits down and says, hey, you need this, you need this, you need this, and you need this before you ever go and talk to a local business. A lot of times people want to jump right out the door, and they're not prepared when they show up. So when they do have an opportunity, like when somebody says, oh, you do local marketing, maybe you can help me out, and it never pans out and you never actually get that sale or close that deal, it's probably because you don't have what Caro recommends in the business kit. So that's Module 2. Module 3 is kind of an overview of the 11 services, which are branding in depth, website development options, SEO services, pay-per-click services, LinkedIn services, self-support materials, marketing plans, vendor management, and employee training. And then we wrap it all around a pretty bow and tie it all together. The wonderful thing about this is you could, even though there's so much here, you could pick and choose like a cafeteria style what you want to look at today so you could take action on it and start benefiting from it tomorrow. In addition, I had Caro create 3 unique bonuses. The first bonus is the Prospecting Secrets, which isn't on the public website for Local Consult. This is a special webinar-only bonus. And Caro has isolated for you 6 ways that she prospects. They're different than normal prospecting methods that you may be familiar with. And they result not so much in we're trying to get 100 clients by tomorrow. It's more like we only need a couple once. But they're going to be very good clients that are going to pay us a lot of money. Bonus number 2 then is the Pricing Secrets of once we do get these clients, what do we charge, how do we present it, how do we package it, and how do we do it so they continue to pay us over and over again. And then finally, and this is really important, anytime we publish somebody, we really like it for them to come on and do some additional group coaching. And Caro has agreed graciously to do 2 trainings, one in the next month and one the month after that. So you go through this material, okay? You say, all right, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to go to localconsults.com/special. Sign up right now. And when you do so, know that as you go through the material, as you go out in the real world and try these things and get results, you might notice things. You might want to have follow-up questions. You say, okay, this happened to me, Carol, now what, right? Or how do I take it from this level to this level? Or you could say, well, this weird thing happened that you didn't address, Carol. Can you address it here? Sure, okay. We do all that and more, and those will be extremely beneficial to you. Those alone are worth $100 just on their own as a bonus. The bonuses alone are worth more than our very, very special $199.95 price point. And regardless, you don't risk anything, because if you've ever dealt with our support, which we are the ones supporting this product, if you've ever dealt with our billing, which we are the ones doing the billing here and everything, right? You know how easy we are, how laid back we are. You try it, you like it, you keep it. You don't like it, just get with us within 30 days or less. And it's a typical Rapid Crush members area where you can go, you can click on something, and it will take you right to the support. And just like anything, even on localconsults.com/special, we're so proud of our support, we put a link to it on every single page. So it's easy to get a hold of us. We can take care of it in the unlikely event you need anything, or if you're not happy, I'm not happy. So localconsults.com/special. I think Will popped in here a little bit ago. I know he was running a little behind. Will, is there anything, because you might have been looking at the chat box while I was talking, is there anything that you would like to add or say or let people know about? And I don't even know if Will has any audio, so if he doesn't, he'll have to let me know.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like he does have audio.
Yeah, I know he can hear, but I don't know if he has a microphone ready. That's no problem. Localconsults.com/special. Hey, Carol, I got a few questions for you that I saw that people were asking earlier that even people might be thinking that they didn't ask. So let's run through these real quick, and then I will have to warn everybody. I have to be out of here in 10 minutes. We're going to a dance marathon tonight, believe it or not. It ain't Australia Day, but it's going to be fun, right? So, Carol, here's a couple questions. And here's one question I know is being asked a lot. It might be somebody, hey, I've never done this before. I've never went and got a business. How can I have the audacity to go out there and think that I'm qualified to sell a business, a big ticket training package or a big ticket service package like you do, Carol? Can you answer that question for us in brief?
I can. I think how you can credibly do that is a shift in attitude. It's about I'm going to do that because I'm determined to offer value. I will do whatever it takes to upskill myself to offer that value, and something like this training will give you an awful lot of those skills that you need to be able to offer it. So when we think, oh gosh, I can't do it, well, you've got a choice. You can stay home and not do it, sort of thing, or you can decide, and that's when the focus is on you, and human nature. We all have insecurities and worries and doubts, or you think, okay, I'm going to look to provide value. Business owners, I've never been asked ever by a business owner about past clients, examples of work or anything. Now, that may seem unusual to some of your experiences listening to this. I think the reason why is because I've been successful there in communicating value in that moment. All they care about are they want their problem solved. So it's about you focusing on them and helping them solve the problem. And look, there's been some tasks I've taken on, like, sales support was a biggie for me because I'm like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not credible here. Oh my goodness. And it's like, no, I can help them with this. I can credibly offer this because I understand the principles of benefit. You want to communicate benefits, not attributes. So it's really a decision you need to make, and that you are going to provide that value, and you will do what it takes to ensure that you can. It's like this isn't about you're going to have a course and it's all going to happen for you overnight. You have to put the effort in. You have to be committed to this. You have to want to offer value to your clients rather than just think, oh, I really want to earn lots of money.
Awesome. That's a great answer. And like I like to say, my philosophy, Carol, is 5% equals 50%. If I spend 5% more or gain 5% more knowledge than the people that I'm helping, that can usually result in a 50% increase, because it only takes a few tweaks, a few little differences to make all the differences in the world. as an aside, when I went through Carol's course, I was really excited, so I put it to the test. I did a little informal study, so to speak. And every time I would go to a business, just a regular business. So say we were looking at a daycare for Lainey. So when I'd go to a daycare, I would find one question to ask them. Or if I'd go out to eat somewhere and it wasn't a big chain like a local mom and pop shop, I would find one question to ask them. Or anything, anywhere that I went, that was related to a local type of business, I would find one question to ask them when I got there. And often the question was, for most of these people, was one of two things. It was either like, hey, by the way, I noticed you don't have a website. May I ask why? Okay, that was the first question. Or the other one says, hey, I noticed you had a website, but, and it was usually something along these lines, but I've noticed that it hasn't been updated in years. Can I ask why? Right? You would not believe the can of worms a question like that can open up. In a lot of cases, people will say, well, geez, I've been wanting to get a website. I don't know where to look. I really wish I could get a website, but it frankly intimidates me, and the only time that somebody ever approached me for a website, they wanted to charge me way too much, and it seemed like a ripoff to me. And you're like, oh, really? And then you're like, okay, what would, you start asking them, well, what would you like to have on a website? What would you like your website to do? And then they start telling you this, and if you just keep asking these questions, they pretty soon say to you, why are you asking me these questions? And you say, well, I honestly just wanted to know because I do this for a living. I help local businesses with their online presence. And then they start getting really excited. They're like, really? Because I've just told you their problem, they've opened it up to you, and now they want to know how you can help them or if you can help them. And so if you have what's in Carol's business kit, it's very simple to then take that opportunity when they're in heat, so to speak, to use a crude language pattern there. You take that opportunity to then pounce on that opportunity, and before you know it, you guys are shaking hands and invoices are being exchanged and money's being made. And more importantly, you're helping them. At the bottom of it all, they don't feel comfortable going out themselves and getting a website designed. They don't know who to look for. They don't know where to go to get LinkedIn services. They don't know where to go to get social media stuff. They don't know where to go to get any of that stuff. So they don't do anything, but they want it. Okay? Then you come along and say, hey, I know where to go to get that stuff. It doesn't matter if I do it or not. You know where to go to get it. Okay? If you want to get it, if you want to do it yourself, you can, but I do not urge you to do so with these types of approaches that Carol teaches. Instead, the margins are there so where you can go find somebody that's decent on the Warrior Forum or any place. Maybe you know somebody you can contact ahead of time and say, hey, I'm going to approach businesses for these services. Could I recommend you, or could I white label you, or could I outsource to you? What kind of a deal can you strike for me, right? And we talk all about that in the training. LocalConsults.com/special, but I loved it because it was so ridiculously easy for me to get people interested in hiring me. Now, I told them in a lot of cases, and this is even more instructive and related to the pricing secrets, I started telling them, I go, well, I do this for a living, but I'm not trying to get your business today because you probably can't afford me. I was just curious. And then once you say something like that, that's a little advanced strategy, then they want to hire you even more. But in my case, in most cases, it was absolutely correct. We did a marketing plan for somebody, which is so serendipitous because Caro teaches this. But we did a marketing plan for a lady a few months before we created this training with Caro here. And I charged her, I don't even remember how much, but it was several $1,000s to write just a marketing plan for, and I kept telling her the whole time. I said, hey, if you want to pay me, you can. You'll probably find people elsewhere that will do it cheaper. There are people that specialize, and this is all they do all day long. And she says, no, I want you to do it because I asked her the right questions, right? Mm-hmm. Then she came back and she wanted a business plan on top of that. And that one, I flat out told her, I go, you will definitely not be able to afford us for that one because the starting price on that was at least $10,000. And that was something that if I wanted to, I could have definitely dropped the price, and she would have said yes at a $6,000 or an $8,000 price point. But the fact is, I am in a position, fortunately enough, to where my time is probably too much for people. It does probably cost too much to hire me. But even if I wasn't, it's still a good thing to say, hey, hey, I'm not cheap. I'm no cheap date, but I'm sure I can help you get what you want. When you have that with Carol's business kit that she talks about, and the confidence to know you can deliver on this, because it's much easier than you'll realize, and you finally will realize that when you go through the training at localconsults.com/special, you're going to say thank you. Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you for giving me this opportunity at this very special price that is very limited. And there you go, localconsults.com/special. /special. I would love to stay. Unfortunately, I do have to jet out here a little earlier, and since Will is MIA as well, we're going to shut it down. The good news then is that makes you, Carol, means you maybe can go out there and enjoy the rest of your Australian day, right? But I want to thank you, and everybody, please thank Carol for taking the time out of her day to teach this. We will send out the replay of this. I love it because it was short, sweet, and right to the point. She went through it. I think you can get it. If you want to take it to the next level, we have a very special deal for you for a limited time, risk-free. Please sign up. But Carol, thank you so much. It is always a pleasure, and I can't wait to speak with you again.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody too for your time. Really appreciate it.